Welcome back, one and all. She's quite chirpy for someone who abandoned her family, isn't she?
She seems happy to get the hell off of Mars. She was like, hey, you're going to build that ship with one seat. I'm on it.
That's me. I'm taking it.
Did she even like try to discuss it? I don't know. I have a lot of questions.
Nah.
I need to have a sit down with the dev team.
She probably forgot. She's like,
just like Ilari, she's like, oh well, moving on.
I got some new friends now.
No, Ilari, at least Ilari, she's dark and you know, troubled and traumatized really by this terrible occurrence, right? She's intense.
I'm happy for Juno.
Juno is very chirpy.
She's just happy to be here. You know what? I'm trying to be happy for her. I'm also happy to take a look at the last few teams we have for you today. Group A, thanks to Toronto Defined, only had one spot available for all the other teams to fight it out for. So, yeah, it all comes down to this for these teams. We're heading into our decider match. It's going to be Avidity or Timeless Ethereal taking the cake. And when I say cake, I actually mean the slot for the main event. Now, of course, Avidity, if you follow their journey, they've been acquired by Hypnos in mid-April, then completely revamped the roster in June, like literally completely redone it. Then just, I think 2 weeks ago, like literally before the Stage 3 started, they made the last few swaps, getting like Twals in, getting Sloth and Wasp. So it's like a lot of changes, not much time with each other. On the other side, Timeless Ethereal, they have the synergy. They've been playing with each other for a long time, and while we unfortunately thought that we saw the last of them, they disbanded and then they reacquired the roster. I'm not entirely sure how to put words.
They're back.
But they're back, and that's all that matters. A lot of exciting stuff on this team, of course. Bun, my absolute MVP. If you watched him play last week, Bun was fragging out. She's my favorite. I want to see Genji from her personally because that's just me. Probably not happening, but Jake's looking immediately going like, no, why?
I love Genji, but Winston is quite strong this week.
We send all our eliminated teams through the gates of heaven behind Jake there.
That's true. That's where they go, in case you're wondering. Well, one of the two teams will join Jake through those gates. So, guys, please take it away.
I'm excited to see who ends up going to heaven and who is going to advance to the next round of the OWCS as we start on Samoa, chosen by Avidity.
Yeah, and this is actually a rematch, right? Yeah, these two teams match up in like the first round of this group, where Avidity did end up winning that one 3-0. So we'll see. Was that actually on like another patch? I guess if that was like
I'm wondering, was it far enough ago, long enough ago to be the last patch? It might have been. If it was
last weekend, then it would have been. So.
At the same time, this wasn't like an earth-shaking patch, you know, other than the new hero who isn't, of course, available in professional play yet. I don't think this is going to, like, radically reshape the game. I guess, you know, the Ilari hotfix nerfs have made, you know, the hero a little bit less popular. Curious to see, though, friends with a few players on Avidity, played with Pella before, an exciting up-and-coming tank player, really adding a lot to his flexibility recently, as both teams locking into Winston comps right now.
Yeah, and we've seen awesome things like Zoe is saying from Bun in her past, so we'll see.
I think Bun and X10 both impress me a lot when I see them play. They are going to be running De Larari despite the nerf, feeling confident in the pylon, playing with Tracer there, X10 on the flank, able to get some space for the dive. Pella forced out very, very quickly, has to fall back, but it's early enough that it's not going to cost them the point, given that it's not open just yet.
Do you think the Ilari nerf is to the point where, like, not a great selection, or is it still somewhat viable in certain situations if Bun falls in the hands of Eve?
It works, but it's fragile, right? And you have the opportunities to get punished by an enemy Tracer who's going to just have a lot more heals than you. So Halo's going to need to find damage, find kills to justify it. Avidity trying to flip, Timeless trying to hold on without overcommitting resources, and in the end, they're just going to like to give the point up, take a stable regroup, and fight at full strength. Bun is going to have a hard time on far at this map, right? Very open map, very easy for somebody like Wisps to see you coming and to sort of shut down that dive before it begins. And this is the problem with the Ari. How do you open things up when you're in a nice, stable defensive setup?
Yeah, not a lot of great heal options as well for Bun, as should be up in the sky, right? With that Ilari, not really much range at all. Is Nano available here? This will go on the
nade. Oh, that's a great play from Skier there. Getting the nade, Nano the Winston. And the kills come in a little bit too thick and fast, right? The player's not able to stay alive for Avidity to leverage that good engagement into a fight win. And that's going to be painful for them, right? You really would have wanted to win that fight off the back of a strong dive, but the counter punch from Bun and X10, just too explosive, kills both backliners.
Yeah, that's the primal there from Sahil, working with Bun, able to pick up a few kills, right? Push them back towards the spawn. Now Timeless Ethereal, right? You're in a position where, you know, you're going to have the Captive Sun, you're going to have your own nano to use here, so potentially an opportunity to kind of like roll these fights into one another, you know, back-to-back fight wins.
Yeah, Eve trying to find this pulse connection on the flank, sneaks up behind the Ana, and Ilari's just nowhere to be found, not really there to protect the Ana, so the dive is explosive. This time the rally from Nenwai keeps backline alive, and Eve's just cleaning house here on the Tracer. At this point, Timeless Ethereal trying to scrap, maybe kill Pella. He's low, but it seems like too difficult, too late into the fight. And that's the downside of the Ilari, right? Your Ana is so defenseless, especially if Skier keeps landing these huge bio nades.
I was gonna say, the Skier lands are really nice bio nade. Like, Scuffed is being pushed down to the low ground, connects that bio grenade, and Halo didn't live long enough to even get the Captive Sun that you potentially could have used there. So now for Avidity, you'll end up having your own Primal and your own Bob coming into this next fight, where you know, with the way these fights go on this point, you can contest for so long. You're in a position where this might be like our last good opportunity.
Pella's primaling, but he's very deep, very alone. I don't think he's going to really get much value at all about this. So well done by Timeless Ethereal, falling back, staying alive. Although Nano almost online, this is the moment, right? Can the Ilari find value? Does get both supports with the Captive Sun. That's exactly what you were hoping for. And it should be a flip here as just Avidity trying to stall things out, maybe finding a trade kill here or there. Skier's going to wisely run to the point and just, you know, stall for one more second before retaking. But we're in a spot where Timeless Ethereal, yeah, they're not up against 99, but you really can't afford to give up the point anymore.
No. Yeah, I mean you're in a spot where, you know, the game's not technically over, right, if you give up the point, but it kind of feels like it is over. So for Timeless Ethereal, they need to be perfect from here on out. Where Avidity, they will end up having a few cracks at this, most likely, as that Whisk actually takes out X10. That's huge. You still have this Bob as well.
You got to be careful, though. Barrage still available for Bun, right? And where is the Pharah? Could be coming over the top, trying to get on top of this Ana Brig. She's still sitting back, though, playing more of a spamming style. Sahil does have Primal that could buy time, but it's too late as Whisk finds Bun. The Primal's onto the backline, but it doesn't really seem to be doing enough with Brig keeping them alive. Halo finding the pick onto the Tracer could keep things in contention, but the heals aren't quite enough to save Wisps, and Timeless Ethereal somehow are clutching. They're turning this around off individual heroics. They gave the point, but they're still fighting this one out. Now it's Avidity's turn to consider a reset, but no way. Even with 3 players alive, the dive is still working for Avidity.
Yeah, you had the Bob on the backside of the point, right? The Bob was very difficult for them to get out of the way, so they couldn't really deal with the Bob, had nothing to do there. And then they ended up losing Scuffed, you know, on the Ana, so you end up losing a bunch of the healing. Couldn't really kind of play for the point. Reaper swap here towards the end. So that is Avidity taking round number 1 in a very chaotic competitive round.
It's Reaper Saturday, Matt. Let's go. Reaper's back on the menu, and I mean, it's an interesting
It feels like
comp.
something your parents tell you, like, hey, it's Reaper Saturday, and they're super excited, and you're just like, yay, can't wait for Reaper Saturday.
It doesn't hit the same as Reaper Friday, I'm not gonna lie. No. It's the truth. Wisps, he's thinking about it, considering it.
Look, he's got, Wisp has the skin, right?
Surely not. With the Ash picks he's been getting, surely not. But, you know, we can dream, we can hope.
It's new skin buff, it's a mythic skin buff.
Yeah, the mythic skin goes crazy on Ash. And once again, it's the Pharah and the Ilari, so, right, electing for a more pokey defensive style. In theory, this can work, but in practice, against players like Skier and Eve and Pella, I mean, the nade comes in, Winston Tracer, explosive follow-up. I mean, that's tough.
You're asking a lot of Scuffed, right, to be able to live.
Yeah. I mean, he's not really going to get much of any kind of help. You just have to somehow trade it back quickly enough. Bun is deep on the flank, but I mean, she has to be cautious. She can't really get healed reasonably in these team fights.
Yeah, Sahil goes very low. Gonna have to back up to the rest of the squad here. So looks like Avidity potentially able to take this first point as Sahil basically one shot for It feels like ages. Is still going to get that first kill. So the point not taken here is it's going to be Timeless Ethereal. They're going to bounce back here. 3 straight kills for Timeless Ethereal. So Bond finishes another off. So she got 2 in the fight, and just like that, the point looked like it was definitely headed over to Avidity, but Timeless Ethereal played it quite well.
Yeah, they managed to bend but not break, and the Pharah being tricky on the flank is doing enough, right? It's keeping Wisp's attention split, making it hard for him to find that pressure onto the enemy backline. And this is a map maybe a little bit wider, a little bit more open, maybe more space for Iliari to work with. However, I do think it's still just the beginning of the round, right? Still very real opportunity to clutch this out. Skier is dropping super low, getting flanked by the Pharah and bubbled off completely, can't heal at all from his team.
Yeah, Skier is extremely low, gets pushed all the way back. They end up losing the brig. This is going to be the Nano, though. They definitely want to win this fight as he gets right on top of Scuff. Scuff is going to use the Nano here on the Sawhill. So I don't know if this is going to end up working out here for Timeless Ethereal. You still have 2 players alive here. You have 1 player, it looks like, yeah, it's going to be Eve on the bottom here. So Timeless Ethereal actually will be able to kind of withstand some of that. Looks like hold on to the point.
This is exactly the type of fight you want on Control, where you trade ults and then you just barely clutch out without losing point control. This is a great spot to be in, as Avidity haven't really been able to find these backline nade connections. Scuffed has been just too hard to catch on this map, maybe offering a little bit more protection, a little bit more safety from those enemy nades, maybe just more aware of that threat after round 1. Pulse Bomb comes in on Sawhill's back, but kind of pop the Primal, keep the aggression on, and both teams looking to trade backlines now. Primals on the respective teams, and the lack of a brig makes Pella's job just frankly a lot easier when it comes to picking off those squishy backliners.
Yeah, it was also a pretty nice bio grenade that came in from Skier, connects with Sawhill and X10, so both those players get hit with the anti. They have to kind of back on out, and that allows Avidity to flip the point. A few times they've gotten close, but this time they finally come out on top.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a very stable hold though, because with only 20% to give, you've got kind of like 1 fight's worth of wiggle room. Wisp forced to Bob relatively defensively, and I think you're gonna be pretty happy with this, as Bob, I think, went off the map there.
You know, it's debatable.
As just the rally from NY, Skier, 20% of that Nano, would love to finish the connection, as the dive is perfect on the Wisp. Rally too greedy, too little, too late, and the barrage from Bun should be sealing the deal here. Opportunity for a retake. Wait a minute, the supports? Surely not.
I was going to say, you're getting dangerous because you would have like a Nano brig type of situation potentially, but there's no way you would have been able to kind of survive the Pharah up in the sky. As Wisp now will move away from the Ash, going to go over to Sombra here, probably just try and get a touch. So Wisp working around the outside, so we'll end up being able to get a touch here, and then you're going to get the Nano boost.
Yeah, and NY also over to the Lucio, so they really want to up the aggression to 11, but Wisp is caught in kind of an awkward spot here.
Yeah.
But he's baiting a ton of attention onto himself, and that makes space for Eve, right? Everyone's looking at the Sombra. She does die, but everyone's one-shot, and Avidity have a... Oh, no! They didn't touch the point, though! Oh, boy. I thought it might have been enough, but it wasn't.
They don't have anybody who can get to the point. It looks like they kind of nano the Lucio there towards the end. Maybe the Lucio is the one who's going to have to take over, but not able to make it towards the point. So that'll be Timeless Ethereal getting on the board.
Okay, so 1 map to the Iliari team, 1 map to the Brig team. Now we go to what is almost certainly going to be a rush map, Volcano, one of the closest quarters control points we have in all of Overwatch. Avidity straight to the Malga, right? Like, this is the final form of rush. This is the most all-in, most YOLO aggressive. Sahil on the Rhine. Rhine has a strangely good matchup against Malga, being able to block the heal, so you don't get any lifesteal on Malga shooting the Rhine shield if you use Shout.
Right.
There is, I think Rhine legitimately is pretty good in this matchup, but it's Reaper time, baby. Wisps, let's see what you got. Let's see what you're cooking on the Reaper. This is a wild
activated.
Reaper pick.
Reaper May Malga. Right into this Reinhardt as Sawhill just holding that shield up.
Oh, big stop from Pella. It's not enough though. Wisp to get shut down. The boop is in. Maga's fighting strong though. Maga getting a lot of support, but the pin comes in from Sawhill, and now it's a scrap. Both teams low numbers, brawling it out, trying to trade kills. Halo super low HP, but the clutch can't come in. Too many heals. X10 too stable on the Cassidy, and the cleanup. Halo finishes off Eve, and That looked like a great opener from Avidity. Pella finding the stomp onto the backliners, but Scuff keeps everyone alive. And, you know, the team synergy, the experience shows, I think, really well when they're in this rush style. Wisp wasn't really able to find that good connection on the Reaper.
Oh, definitely is. Looked like a Malga Stomp comes in. Oh, they wanted to make a play for Halo, and they do find Halo
Reaper?
and X10. So I don't think there's anything you can do now here for Timeless Ethereal. Just saw him with a pin there on a Wisp just to make a statement there, but this feels like it'll be Avidity who will end up flipping.
Yeah, I think Timeless Ethereal making a big mistake there trying to fight in the small corridors. I don't think that's what you want to do at all against Maga. I mean, as much as you have the Venture, Maga and Reaper are just the kings of these tiny little flank rooms with Moira as well. I mean, so much chaos. Timeless Ethereal, I think they want to keep things stable, but the retake could be a little bit awkward for them. I mean, you have to turn the corner, right, to get your high noon, to get your window off, and there's always the chance for Avidity to just swing on you and rush you with that Coalescence.
That'll be an Earth Shatter with a Deadeye here. So they will deal with Pella. That's a huge pick-off. I mean, what do you do now if you're Avidity? Is there any way you can even fight this point? It'll be a Coalescence here to kick things off. They do have a sound barrier to work with here as well, if need be. Just putting down some ticking damage there on the Sawhill. Not able to get in the ice block is Eve. That'll be the sound barrier coming in over the top. I don't believe it connected with Wisp either, so the sound barrier only connects with 2. So you do have Pella back in the fight, but I feel like you just kind of threw some ultimates in there for Avidity. Didn't really get much of anything for it.
Yeah, the Mei getting bursted down there. I think she might have had the ice block, but the damage just came in so explosively, so quickly from X10 and Bun that wasn't able to get it off. Now, big opportunity here, though, is the Blizzard. I think this is going to be a tough test for Sawhill. Could he easily get caught by a wall, frozen up, and Ryan, if he's not able to hold shield against Reaper and Malga, you're going to be in big trouble. Yeah. So dodging this freeze is of the utmost priority right now. Avidity charging forward, Pella straight to the backline, and they're caged in, potentially with a Blizzard, although he's holding the Blizzard. It's the Reaper that's the one who's got the cleanup ultimate. The Death Blossom with life, with extra life steal from Maga is a terrifying sight to behold as Avidity flip the map, retake control in what has been a very back and forth volcano round.
It feels like if now you can hold this Blizzard to use as they kind of try and move through this choke, right? You know, there's not really a way they can kind of counter it. You can use this Blizzard as a deterrent here, and that's exactly what they do. They use a Mei wall here, then they use their Blizzard, they push on in, they get one. Sawhill taking some damage. It's a nice immortality field keeping the Reinhardt alive. And look at this, they're gonna get even.
Mei is in big trouble. Surely the Mei doesn't live. No way. Okay, the Shatter comes through. Okay. They kind of baited themselves into that one. And Avidity, I can't help but feel overextended there, right? Going into the attacker spawn is a little bit too much, right? Like let the Timeless Ethereal try to retake into you, but they charge into the spawn, they trade a couple kills. It's messy, it's scrappy, but Timeless Ethereal responded to it incredibly well. It only cost them Shatter and the Ventral. Hey, you're not really feeling bad about that at all. That's exactly how you want to use Tectonic Shock. High from X10 though, maybe making the same mistake, although Sawhill catches Wisp on the Reaper.
They're so split though. I mean, look at this. Oh, it's going to be a cage fight as well. This sound barrier is going to come down, but there was nobody else alive there for Avidity. Is Avidity now going to have to make some changes, probably just to get back and get a touch?
Yeah, Pella over to the ball. Maybe can make something work. They do have some support ults, right? I mean, so if you can get a decent touch without losing a player, there actually is hope for Avidity in this round, but they're going to have to be perfect. They can't make any mistakes. Great opener from Pella, gets OT, forces attention, and Bun dies. Hold on. Coalescence as well. Snowballing into the backline. Pella's onto the Batiste. Everyone's turning, trying to peel, desperately hoping to keep their backline alive.
You can hold on to sound barrier here too, which is massive.
That is so huge. And now you're on such a versatile, such an evasive comp. It's going to be hard. A lot of pressure on X10 to find some kills in the chaos here. Nenwai's got to be cautious. Can't get picked off early. Bab slammed up. Boop forwards one, Bun someone kills both BBS.
Oh, a double kill there from Bun as she connects with both. That'll be a Shatter there that ends up taking out Pella. What a turn here towards the end is a Timeless Ethereal. It looked like that Avidity was going to bounce back in and take it. But Bun goes massive there in a final fight.
Oh, wow, if that's any signal, I think, for the rest of the match, we're in for a very close series with both teams having different perspectives on the meta, different takes, but both teams leveraging them very well. And Pella actually is a very strong ball player. I think he originally was a ball one trick when he started playing Overwatch competitively. I mean, he got top rank on ball. I like the ball one tricks. You know, if you're a ball one trick, you understand the game on a different level, you know, so you can maybe bring it on other heroes as well.
Yeah, I don't understand how somebody can one-trick Wrecking Ball, but people find enjoyment in lots of stuff that I don't find enjoyment in. Like
riding bikes.
Yeah, bikes. He's got a bike there. It's up there. It's doing his thing. So I mean, that's what he likes to do. I like to sit here. I like to sit in front of my computer. That's my.
Is that your hobby, Matt? Sitting here?
Yeah, my main source of hobby of fun is just being seated. That's probably my main source of fun. But this is a crazy map number 1. This is also a series where Avidity, they ended up winning 3-0 against Timeless Ethereal last week, right? So to come in here, Timeless Ethereal take map number 1, it is a big confidence booster from them. And I also think the way they did it, just absolutely crazy at the end. I don't think this Alari really paid off. I don't know if you bring this one out for the rest of the series, right? It would look better once they started to play that faster pace at the end.
Yeah, it was decent, but I think we did see, especially on the first map, the holes that were left in the comp, right? Alari's doing damage, but it was the Ana who feels the punishment, feels the pain. It's more subtle too, but Tracer tends to struggle when there's no Brig on the field because, she's getting number 1, getting booped and bullied by the enemy Brig, but also the Tracer 1v1 is not a fair fight when one Tracer's getting Brig packs. It's almost impossible to turn around and win it. Bun doing a great job with very little resource as well, though. Honestly, this is a comp where you really are leaving your Pharah out to dry and just hoping she finds some miracle damage, and she lived very well in these fights, right? Getting consistent game impact that I wouldn't necessarily expect when you're running an Alari.
I mean, Bun, she is sick map number 2, and then the end of the third map was just bonkers. Right here, this is a nice Cage plus Death Blossom combination here for the side of Avidity, but
I can't lie, Avidity pushing the spawn here though is an egregious throw. There's no other word for that than throw. You went into the attacker's spawn where you are visible from the spawn door.
If you saw your teammate in the position that Eve was in on May, you'd be like, bro. But they were quite deep into the spawn. Here towards the end, that's where I'm gonna pick up 2.
They don't get the beat on the DPS. That's why it's painful.
Oh, yeah, that's a good catch. Yeah, they don't connect with those damage dealers, and then they end up dropping on top of that. I mean, look at the healing output here. For Timeless Ethereal. I mean, other than the damage, it is just all dominated by them.
Yeah, Avidity, especially on that second round, right? They felt very out of sorts, felt like they couldn't really get anything aggressive going. And the Pharah flanking them was really pulling a ton of attention, and they weren't really able to respond to it effectively. Yeah, so I think that second map, there's a little bit more of the open flank with Halo way out on the right side. Maybe they already looked strong there still, right? With a great position to play, and with your Ana having a safer spot, maybe this double flex board can still work, even with the Alari nerfs. I think it's a little bit more questionable, but I think it's possible with what we've seen.
Yes, just taking a look at kind of what we saw in the last series, I am curious on where they decide to go. So the last time they played, we saw Samoa, which Avidity did win 2-0. We saw Eichenwald, and then we saw Shambali. Avidity won all of those, obviously, in a 3-0. So I wonder if they take us to either the Eichenwald or the Shambali, knowing that obviously they just played against this team on the 16th. It was when that match took place. So they played them on the 16th. So not that long ago.
I will say I like Avidity's chances on the rush. I think if they didn't kind of toss Volcano with that, diving into the spawn with the Blizzard, I think they probably would have just won that map easily. With the enemies retaking the Blizzard, I think you look like you're in a great spot. So I wouldn't, I don't love the idea of just forcing rush. I think that honestly, Avidity looks solid on the rush. They look good on the dive too. I'm wondering maybe the poke matchup is a place where you can find an edge here for Timeless Ethereal, maybe a Circuit Royale. I think X10 and Bun are both really confident on DPS, and I think poke is a style that does emphasize those DPS players. Pella as well. I think he specializes in main tank for sure. It's going to be Dorado from Avidity.
Avidity goes Dorado. So their game on Eichenwald that they ended up winning last week, it was 3-2, so reasonably close. But Dorado is an interesting pick. Dorado, it feels like you kind of have to play a little bit more, dive-centric, a little bit more aggressive, right? Kind of feels like where this map will tend towards to go to.
Yeah, I think this is confidence in just their whole team, right? With how good Skier looked on the Ana. They want to play Ana, Brig, Winston, Ash, Tracer. And I have a hard time imagining much else really seeing play on Dorado. There's some BAP Diva styles that, you can kind of workshop in. but I'm not sure either team really will do that. And I think this is a map where the Illari is a huge Achilles heel. If you don't run a Brig, you are going to be having a bad time on Ana with the enemy Winston Tracer just haunting you. So
yeah,
I'll be curious to see if Bun ends up sticking with the Echo or if they go for a hit scan look. Historically, something like the Widow has just been too effective, right? Like if you don't play Widow on second point, oh, good luck. In the end of first point, that high ground, it's super difficult to get to the enemy Widow and shut her down. And in the end, someone like Wisps, they're always going to get chances to take your head off. And you're just kind of hoping that they miss a couple of those chances and that you can connect to them with this Echo and get on the back line. But I have a hard time imagining. I mean, for me, this Echo, I think it can work theoretically, but I favor the Widow teams here.
Yeah, I think the Echo on offense, especially in the defensive Widowmaker, I think it'd be quite tough. Widow has such great sightlines on this map, and just so many different spots the Widow can play from that are pretty safe. Like as you see right here, kind of through the window. So see if Bun is forced to make a swap, but it'd be really good for Timeless Ethereal, right? If you can get off to a really good start here, set an awesome time, really just swing the confidence and momentum in your team's favor. That is a lot of damage that Pella takes, not able to live.
Yeah, and it was great split pressure. Sahil blocks the supports, and the Echo comes in onto the Winston, who's not getting any heals for a moment. Normally, you would want the dive to come in on the same target, but that's a great job of using the Winston as a distraction, bait and switch, to get the kill elsewhere on the map. And honestly, I think maybe Avidity overconfident to stay forward there, where I think Widow really does shine at the back of this first point. And now I don't even know if you're going to get a retake. The cart rolled so far there. Eve's touching, going to have to recall. Pella's going to come in. So they are going to try and take this engagement, but it's a tough retake here. Both the divers get naded.
Yeah, both Pella and Eve hit with the bio grenade, and they're forced to back up, and that's going to be the first checkpoint. Over 5 minutes on the clock here for Timeless Ethereal. I don't think they're done, Jake. I think they're going to try and push forward here. Maybe see if they can find a few more kills. Sahil taking large chunks of damage, then ends up backing out. But this is about as good of a start you could ask for here for Timeless Ethereal.
Yeah, it's a great opener. They snowballed into that first point, but I like that Avidity, once they took that huge nade, they just back out. I mean, you could stay on the point, but you're just going to die. You're just going to lose the fight. And the fact that they stayed alive means that they're going to get a very early and strong hold on second. And Scuff already got naded. Could see a follow-up trade kill here. But Pella got slept, and oh, it has to be Eve getting the Tracer kill. So at least with Ana dead, the snowball won't be too devastating. Avidity, though, likely to be cleaned up here. So Sahil just trying to hold that primal.
Yeah, Bon has this duplicate. Just a nice job here, working with Sahil up on the high ground. Cart continues to move here. Double support ult here for Avidity. This could be kind of where they end up making their stand, right? You can have high ground control, double support ult. Maybe you're able to make something out of this here.
Yeah, you need to. I mean, I think this is probably the strongest spot on the map. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Echo, seen on the flank, doesn't want to commit too much into that kill with the potential for a copy and turn. Bun is going to go for the Tracer copy, so potentially setting up for a very aggressive double Tracer dive, but just fighting a Tracer is getting healed is unlikely to yield too much fruit here. As yeah, the supports are so aware of this fight. Pella trades backline. It is the second Tracer. It's enough to kill, but Pella, I mean, this is a cleanup that's usually going to favor defense. With Primal online, I can't imagine this turning into a cap.
Yeah, it's going to be solid to get to a bio grenade in the rally going here. So for Timeless Ethereal, though, I guess, like they end up using their rally and their nano there, and you end up using what? I mean, I guess you kind of have to use like dupe, pulse bomb, and primal to get it out. So I guess your only advantage here is Halo with a rally coming up. It's still
so hard to leverage the rally on offense, right? You're blocking on the low ground. You can live the dive, but how do you connect to the enemy backline? Hold on. It's a big nade on the skier. Honestly, Avidity's going to be feeling pretty happy that they don't get cleaned up, but Pella's primal. This is no such luck. Yeah, this is going to be a big cleanup, and he's just going to live. Get that all those heals to his Ana. Farm the nano. Ooh, he needs to live, though.
Well, like you mentioned, though, you can't exactly use the rally here, like on offense, incredibly effectively, right? Like where does it get used? Like you're not going to play low ground with this type of composition. It would have to be like, you know, fighting over that payload. As Sahil actually, you know, takes that health bank, then ends up dodging out. So now a slight advantage here, maybe for Timeless Ethereal, or at least being you know, Avidity scared enough to have to back on out, making them feel threatened. Is Pella taking some shots here? There'll be a pulse bomb that comes through that connects with nothing. This is going to be the rally here.
Big nade on the Halo.
Oh, that is nasty.
Oh, and the brig goes down. That's going to really cripple the attackers. They want to close out, but they really just don't have the sustain to do it. No supports alive. Everybody on Avidity is healthy, and that's a painful fight to lose. The defenders didn't have high ground. They didn't really have the setup that they would ideally want, but it doesn't matter because once again, as we've seen so many times in this series, Skier just finds the perfect nade exactly where it needs to be. And I think this is why Avidity took us to Dorado, as they're saying, all right, we know we're going to be the better team on this Winston comp.
But I would say, Timeless Ethereal, like, typically at this point you'd be like, oh yeah, your final fight, but they take first point so fast that you still have like a minute and 40 on the clock. And look at this, I mean, you're gonna have Primal used here, you're gonna have this Nano to kind of like shuffle on to that Winston right after, and then you got Pulse and Duplicate. Like, you're in a spot where you can still end up taking the second checkpoint. This Saul gets a ton of damage, gets pushed back. Now it'll be the Nano here onto the Winston.
Yeah, it's not enough, though, to get through the rally, getting healed. Eve wins the duel against X10, and now Pella nanoed, holding down the point. Fun gets cut down. It's an expensive fight for the defense. Cost them 3 ults. So in that sense, it's well played by Timeless Ethereal, but that was really their bang, too. That was everything that they're bringing.
Who wants to go?
This is a very aggressive move. Maybe a little bit risky. Might be forced to Primal just to live. But if they can get Sahil, in the end, they're going to be feeling pretty okay about this. And maybe more. Maybe now it's time to catch more spawners. I like this aggression.
On the Sawhill at least, but getting the kill here on Halo, that is huge. Is it look like potentially maybe going in a little bit too deep, right? That's kind of what happened to Avidity map number 1. They went a little bit too far. Look like maybe the same thing here. That time it pays off.
And now Avidity are very committed to the forward hold, right? Skier dropped to the low ground to support this push into the spawn, and there's not really a way to retreat from here. I like that they're just saying, all right, let's go. Let's take the fight here. They can probably still get a recontest if they lose a fight, but you can also just win it right here and now while the rotation's being forced. Maybe Avidity gonna think better of that, though, gonna fall back and sort of slowly dissipate this engagement while continuing to hold the objective while on a brig, rotate back to a position where they'll be a little bit more effective. But Eve with the pulse bomb could be the decisive factor here. No saves for Pulse. If you get the connection, it's gonna be a kill on anyone but Tracer or Winston. Nade misses, though, from Skier, so maybe the dive weaker than you would want. Oh, it's just enough.
Oh, yeah, the Halo was really weak there. It'll be a Primal use. Nice sleep, though, from Skier as the Ana for Avidity has been... Oh, that's a nice pulse bomb, though, from X10. X10 with both supports here. Just gonna have Scuffed alive for Timeless Ethereal, just trying to keep the team topped up.
That should be enough for the attackers.
Nowhere, though. Oh, it is enough. I mean, they're quite... lucky there because the Nano ends up getting used on the Soil, but as Soil dies, so you end up getting nothing for the Nano. That could have been a disaster, but
yes, Skier just couldn't quite find the save there on his teammates, right? It's a pretty straightforward dive that comes in from Timeless Ethereal, but it just gets there with Nenwai maybe being just a little bit too far out, a little bit too exposed, maybe feeling a little overconfident in that spot. But Avidity, only 1 minute left on the clock for the attackers. They're sitting pretty on this high ground, ready to defend, shutting down that Winston dive with ease. Now, Timeless Ethereal, what do you have for us? How can you open this up? Can you find some sort of aggressive nade connection? But you've got to be so worried with how good Skier's been on this Ana. Without Eve, though, it's going to take some of the teeth out of the dive, as Pella not finding too much harassment. Brig blocks nade as well. Rally turn, keeping everyone alive, but Wisp Bomb.
Really... Yeah, nice bomb there. The bomb gets thrown in. It's going to be 2 players down here. So that's the rally gone. Now, Avidity looks like they're going to come out and win this fight. Jake, I gotta say, Avidity's probably so happy with the way this map ended up turning out to be, considering where we were after the first point, right? They get kind of dominated, and now they're in a spot where, I know they do give up that second checkpoint, but not much here at the end.
Yeah, it looks pretty stable, although Timeless is gonna have one more shot at this, I think. Maybe a little bit of a sketchy touch from X10, but should still be able to get it unless... Oh, Skier's playing super aggro. They try to stop the touch, but it doesn't work, and now Skier's caught maybe a little overextended, but the dive is working. Pella with the Nano cleans up Halo. Scuffs just can't really come into the engagement, and you're fighting without supports on the point. Yes, Fun has the copy Primal, but it's shortly going to expire. Wisp dodges Pulse. Easy cleanup here for the defense, and they hold only a few meters in to third point. As you said, Matt, after a great start for the attackers, it does kind of fizzle out Although, to be honest, I think Avidity should be kind of kicking themselves. Like, they should not have lost second point, frankly. Like, there's no... They lost because they kind of screwed up and, like, just died to, like, a normal dive. When they've been tanking ultimates, right? Time and time again, and then this dive comes in without really much of a oomph, and it just gets the kills. Like, this seems out of place. So, honestly, I think Avidity probably wishes they did even better. Wish they had a stronger first as well, because they look really good on this Winston hit scan comp.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, whereas, like, they probably should have held second point. Like, not giving up the checkpoint, but it ends up being just kind of Timeless Ethereal pulling something out in the end. I'll be curious what Avidity decides to do on offense, right? They kind of, run that Widowmaker at the start on defense, and they're actually able to successfully Timeless Ethereal run the Echo into it. They'll actually play the Illari here on defense, so this is pretty similar to what we saw in Samoa.
Yeah, we'll see if the Illari... I mean, Illari on defense, I can see the thought, but honestly, I actually hate this comp. I think this is, like, super throwing. I think, like, you can't win with this against a confident team, because...
Yeah.
I mean, the problem for this is, like, yes, you could theoretically boop the Winston dives with Illari, but it's like, I don't think that should really work consistently. The range is so limited, your position is so limited, and you don't even have someone who can properly heal the Echo. It's going to be like your Ana healing the Echo. I just think this is so forced to play Illari here.
It feels like the Brig is just so much, like...
Just so much straightforwardly better, right? Like, in every way. And, like, do you really... If you really want a hit scan, just play a hit scan on DPS, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of this. In ranked, you gotta play Brig, guys. Trust me.
You may not
so
like
good,
it, but you should play it. You're gonna win some games. This Pella gets it with a nade right away. Gonna get a lot of healing up here for both on us, right? Scuffed and Ski are both gonna be approaching almost like 40% in terms of ult charge there. As a bio grenade goes to the high ground, doesn't connect with much of anything here. As we're on with Bun. We'll see. I mean, look at the amount of pressure they are putting on her. I mean, that is difficult to live through, even if you had, strong, like, support for the Echo, right? But, with that Illari in the mix, very difficult. As they'll take out Sawhill now, so it seems like Avidity's going to get the payload moving.
Yeah, and I mean, the ones we should have our eyes on are Eve and Pella. They're the ones who are really going to feast due to this lack of a Brig, right? Without a natural defender of the backline, Tracer and Winston just going to eat you up, and maybe the Ashe could feel a little bit more pressure from something like the Illari, but in the end, I don't think it's really going to shut her down, and it's going to be the Tracer and the Winston, Eve and Pella, that are constantly going to be attacking this backline, shutting them down, whether it's even the Echo or one of the supports.
So it looks like Sawhill gonna get the benefits of this. Nano gonna go right in over the top as Timeless Ethereal just trying to get a hold here. As the Wisp and Eve picking up a kill each for Avidity, as they are not able to kind of get on top of the Ashe. Wisp just able to do whatever they want from a distance, not even needing to end up using the rally. And now Halo will move over and play the break, so we kind of get what we wanted. Maybe just a little bit late there. You give up that first point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lars just did nothing. I mean, I'm like it was so useless compared to the Brig, like how much Brig was constantly saving the Ana from these dives, right? Like pushing back into the fight, keeping the Tracer healed up. Just so many advantages on the character that I think it is almost, impossible to justify anything else. As now dive comes in from X10, maybe getting a little bit more heal resource on Trey, feeling a little more confident to push in and take control. Halo does tank a nade, but is able to escape due to the mobility of Bash.
Yeah, it's an advertisement
like
for playing Brig. It's just a Brig PSA. It just feels like that with the Brig, you're kind of accomplishing the same thing outside of, like you mentioned, having the hit scan, right? But just way more consistent, safer, and easier, right? You're kind of like playing the same type of thing. But maybe now you don't feel you need as much of like a hit scan presence, right? To kind of, you don't have like an Echo or something on the other side, so could be why they feel better out giving it up here. Maybe you feel like you need more long-range poke at the beginning, but there'll be Pella putting some damage down there, just trying to get some space. I think potentially even trying to build up towards that Nano. It's a nade up towards the sky here. What is that gonna? Is that gonna connect with anything? I don't think so.
I'm hopeful. I'm watching these backliners.
Like lineup, yeah. It's like.
You would think he knows where it's going, but maybe that's just how he tricks you, But Pella gets the dive onto the backline with the Primal, even without his Tracer, is finding a successful dive. Bun on the Ashe copy. Hard to kill, but so far hasn't been able to really convert kills despite getting very close on a few of those. Pella steps a little bit too far out of the bubble though, and losing the Winston is going to allow these defenders to get a pretty decent reset. Even though X10 dies late, I think Avidity kind of would have wanted that to be a little bit more decisive, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Get them a little bit more established, as now Sahil just jumps right back to the cart, very confident that they can just shut it down here, not allow any kind of free progress. Wisp, though, I like this rotation. Although Skier kind of caught away from the team, separated. Greg and Anna backing down the street instead of into the church, and that's going to mean that they die separated away from Wisps.
Yeah, Bud still continuing very strong play. It takes out both supports here. Now you're going to have X10 on the Widowmaker, right? So I think the Widow is definitely going to be helped here, you know, by the Brig and the Ana in the mix, right? If Pello wants to get aggressive and dive on in, making him deal with being bioed, getting hit by, you know, the bash and whatnot, of the Brig. I think if you're Timeless Ethereal, you're looking at, okay, if we can get this into OT, even if they end up, you know, taking the point, you still feel pretty good about potentially winning the map.
I don't agree with you there. I think if this goes to third, you lost. So I think you really need to, because it's so, you didn't make much progress on third, right? Like you really don't have much opportunity to
you got like almost you would probably only have like one fight. Like you got like a little bit past the bridge. You may have like a, hey, everybody's coming out of the spawn, you know, Doomfist and whatnot, but and now like if you got it low, I don't know.
Maybe they can clutch it out here. Primal in the small room, double monkey diving into the small room. That is pretty powerful. Even the Nano Brig. When Nano Brig's rallying, oh my god, they're trying to turn.
Oh, wait,
this is a crazy attempt to turn after losing the Ana and being sworn. But I guess it does, you know, get the rally out. In the end, that's a massive commitment from Timeless Ethereal, right? Without the Tracer, they need to really bring a lot of damage to bear to make those aggressive dives work. And in this case, it's rally, Primal, and copy. Just Nano boost on the cards for the next fight. I like that Wisp has gone to the Widow duel. I think you kind of need to match Widow in order to even take these hit scan trades. But he's got to be very careful. He's got to probably rotate with this Ana Break backline because he is very vulnerable to heroes like Echo and Winston. Jump shotting is insanely risky here with a Winston on the card. Yeah, okay, that's
Winston in your face.
I wouldn't jump shot there. I would save that grapple, but Nade comes in. They're trying to fight Sahil. Gonna get forced out, and Pella doesn't even want to Primal commit to this. Take the reset. And I mean, honestly, this is working out well for Timeless Ethereal, right? And lacking a Tracer hasn't really been punished for them at all. Eve, it's very hard to get to these defending high ground players when you're on Tracer, very hard to connect. And even Echo can sort of do double duty sometimes as a card touching hero.
Yeah, he did end up using the Nano there from Scuffed as come in here though. Sahil will have another Primal. So they have a ability so fast. Is putting a lot of pressure on it. And that's going to be a huge grenade there. A bio comes through from Scuffed as now it's going to be back to the high ground here. So things kind of falling apart for Avidity.
Yeah, and it's going to be over to the Lucio. Desperation mode on second point. I think it's going to be too little too late. Brig holding down the defense here on the cart, and there's no touch to come in. The Widow Echo strat proves to be too much, right? Just a little bit overwhelming with, there's so many different types of threats. There's the Winston dive coming in on you with Bionades with Echo, but then there's also just a Widow, you know, picking away at you. And two different types of threats like that can sometimes be very hard to respond to.
Yeah, and this is a series that, you know, happened a week ago. On the 16th, Avidity wins 3-0, but still a pretty close 3-0, where now Timeless Ethereal looks to kind of return the favor, right? An opportunity to close it out here. They have a lot of the momentum, start to really put together good second point defenses. Honestly, it's once they ditch the Alari. Once they ditched the Alari, they were able to just kind of consistently win on the defense. It seems like Alari with some of the nerfs, like I think, you know, we did see a lot of Alari, like putting down like lots of, I mean, she was at one point able to put down so much damage and healing. It was like, why wouldn't she be in a comp? But now feels like you can do that. It's just a lot easier to kind of capitalize on it from the opposing team standpoint, as, you know, just jumping into a Brig. You're never going to see success just kind of, you know, face rolling into Brig.
Yeah, you know, I think this is a map that, honestly, Timeless Ethereal did a great job recovering on that second point, right? They never really let go of this high ground position. They were always able to at least trade away some of these attackers, so they couldn't get a snowball rolling, couldn't really take position on the map. And despite some great dives from Avidity, it wasn't enough to close out. And honestly, I think some inexperience was showing there. Honestly, maybe the Widow, that Widow Echo, maybe rather than Widow dueling, you could have gone for like a Sombra and a Tracer and just really up the ante, given that the other team without their Tracer is no longer going to be able to fight for map control. But I mean, now you start to wonder, like, what if Avidity makes that full hold on second point, right? Like, you know, that's where this map really could have been different. What if they didn't get completely blown out in that first fight on offense?
I mean, they gave Timeless Ethereal 5 minutes plus to take second checkpoint, and they were almost good enough on defense for second checkpoint to just like prevent them from taking it, right? I mean, you win one fight on first point, and you hold second point. They don't get it, just in terms of like where we were in terms of time. Just a crazy turn of events there. That Timeless Ethereal is able to take the second checkpoint. With how fast they took that first checkpoint, just kind of like opened up the rest of the game. And like we've been talking about, having that Brig in the mix seems to change things up for them completely.
Yeah, and the dives looking really solid there, like able to find so many nades from the high ground. Timeless Ethereal, their follow-up was immaculate, and to cut the tracer there is a risk, right? Where now the opportunity to pressure card is opened up, and maybe your dives aren't going to be as consistent. But because Bun kept delivering on the Echo, kept finding those connections in the back line, and managing to hold the card at the same time too, right? Balancing multiple responsibilities. X10's Widow, they weren't really able to answer it. Wisps didn't really feel like he had any opportunity to even take a duel. He's just constantly getting jumped on, right? Not ever able to even take the space, much less actually, get into a stable. He got one kill on the enemy Widow, like while he's being primaled. That's your best chance to duel the Widow when you're being juggled by a Winston primal. It's not what you want.
No, not an ideal scenario for X10 and Avidity, but Timeless Ethereal, one map away from winning this decider match. Going to give Avidity some time to figure out where they want to take us in the series, potentially the last map in the series. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. Welcome back to the OWCS Stage 3 group play. We got a good decider match here between Avidity and Timeless Ethereal. I'm Matt. That's Jake. We go by first names now. I'm gonna ditch. Maybe I'll just ditch the Mr. X. I'll just be Matt.
Hell yeah, Matt. That's the future, man. I tried to start this trend years ago, and it's finally picking up steam.
Future.
We got Ryan. Who else?
Yeah,
That's it.
We got Ryan.
It's just Ryan.
We got everybody. Yeah, just you and Ryan.
Wait, Zoe?
Amazing. Zoe, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay. So is Zoe cheating? Is Zoe salami? Salame. I call her salami. Zoe is in the call. I just call her salami.
Oh man, I do not want to be you.
I am not gonna live that one down.
You're gonna.
Whoops.
You're gonna hear that one. Jake is sick next week in the studio.
Let's see if I can redeem myself as we come here to Eichenwalde. Oh, I didn't redeem myself.
I don't know. I think you've sent yourself.
I'm only digging. Yeah.
This is where you just pretend it was a bit and you just move on.
I've been joking with my terrible pronunciation.
Yeah, we talk about the defense here for Avidity and how important it would be.
It is important.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same matchup we've seen, and thank God they're playing Brig. I would lose my mind, I think, if they picked Illaoi here. They never even considered it, though. A quick two-tap on the Bun. And what would normally be a safe peek for Bun, I think, gets punished by great marksmanship from Wisp. So that's a wonderful start to the defense, but you're going to need more than that. It's just going to be a bump in the road for Timeless Ethereal if they can get the push moving here.
Yeah, the offensive Illaoi is such a Jaws pick. It's like a very Jaws move here. So good to see the Timeless Ethereal not going with that selection. So they will play the Brig. Although at times that OWCS, it's been difficult to kind of make your way through the choke. That's nice bio grenade.
Yeah, big damage comes in. Scuff barely survives, has to nade himself, but now it's Wisp who's under pressure. Bun turns it around. Eve does finally clean up that backline, but the trade's just going so much better for Timeless Ethereal. They've still got 3 alive. Pella and Eve, I think they might try to go for this still, even down 1. Maybe just get a last second touch, or it could be an opportunity just to reset, get back in. Okay, without Eve, surely Pella's just gonna fall back. And I mean, Wisp hit such big damage on the Ana. I thought for sure the dive would go well for them, but maybe that baited them into staying just a little bit too long in that extended position, and it's Bun who really punishes them on the Echo.
Yeah, it feels like if Wisp is not taking Bun out, she's able to just kind of, rain terror up there in the sky. Oh man, there's a few more kills coming in for Timeless Ethereal. It feels like they got a lot of the momentum in this series, but they do end up losing Soil, so maybe that'll slow things down just a little bit.
Man, this is such a scrappy trade-based fight, but Timeless Ethereal, with their experience playing together, looking comfortable now at this point in the series, right? They're happy to take these trades because with this Echo comp, you know, as opposed to the Ashe, you're probably a little bit better when it comes to trading backlines and snowballing forward.
That's got to be a kill. Okay.
Massive setup from Skier.
Yeah. I mean, they get a sleep, but they get a nade on the button. If they were going to take her out then, they would have never taken her out. But I mean, this is a nice job from Solo, controlling door at Bio Grenade, but it's going to be a big use of the Primal here. His rally's going to come on through, get out the window, escape the other side. It's going to try and make their way back towards the payload.
And in the end, though, I think Defender's going to be feeling pretty good about this, right? Able to find some kills through those trades and, you know, reset the map where Attacker's going to have to come back in, take a long rotation. Siled way too high with that escape jump.
Yeah.
And now Pella smells blood in the water, charging forward, cuts off the retreat path. We'll see if the team can follow him in. Scuffed, drops super low, does get saved by the Brig, but somehow Bun finds Eve again.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, Bun is making such a huge difference on the Echo, finding kills that I just don't think she's supposed to be finding, but the individual big headshots on Tracer, in the end, you can't always play around that as Tracer. Pella's dive completely stuffed, shut down. He'd be happy to make it out with his life at this point.
One with a duped Ashe.
Okay, wait.
Both support.
I just killed the whole team while we're watching
me?
the Primal getting owned. That is a... Okay, Timeless Ethereal are starting to feel themselves. Momentum is picking up. And, I mean, if Echo just dominates your Tracer, just 2 clicks the Tracer, that can happen, but it's just it's a gut punch as Tracer, right? You're like, what do I'm supposed to be able to win the 1v1 with Echo, and then she's just nuking me down?
Yeah. Few times that it seems like they've been too aggressive. Avidity, it's been, you know, Timeless Ethereal and coming out the other side. This is all Timeless Ethereal though, Jake. I mean,
this is a crumbling
thrown out there. Yeah, this is, you know, Call of Duty, we used to call this a mental boomage. You
this
know,
is an absolute mental boom.
Somebody's just boomed mentally, and now it's just, I mean, this is a team with Avidity that they just 3-0'd this team last week. You know, obviously it's one. Oh, that is silly.
That's so nasty. Bob straight into hitting the uppercut on both supports. That's so crazy. But
and that we saw Bun get like 2 kills before that as well.
Yeah, I mean, she opened it up, shutting down the enemy Tracer before even using the copy. So now it's the Nano trying to keep the aggression up. Going to be a much tougher task now against the comp that Avidity has brought out. Very stable defensive comp. But, you know, there's a lot of value on the Nano boost, and Sile still has Primal. Still going to keep the aggression going even longer. And also not only got the aggression, but took so much attention from the enemy squad. Pella was all alone, holding the front line, but he can't really get anything done while his whole team is trying to mark a Primaling Winston. And now nothing really left for the retake. This is a blitzkrieg of an offense.
Yeah, the Cassidy gonna roll out onto the point, and he's going to die, as that is gonna be a full map completion. 319 in the time bank. Crazy turn of events here, you know, where Timeless Ethereal, they have showed up in a big way. I mean, this is a sick performance.
I mean, Bun just destroyed this entire map. Did she die? Like once? I mean, maybe once or twice or something, but it just, like, it didn't even matter. Like,
stats, which is just
the vibes. The vibe stats were dominant from Bun. That's what we can say.
Bun did not die.
Wait, actually, now I remember she did die at least once. I remember, but nonetheless,
at the very start.
Nonetheless,
but that doesn't really count, though. I mean, it didn't really, you know, impact anything, right? It was a non-impactful death.
We need to get the Bun cam. That's for sure. We need to get the Bun cam a little bit more on this Echo. I mean, Echo, great observing cam, right? We get to see a little bit what's going on. And honestly, with on the Ashe, it's just so difficult. Right? He has to like put out these early kills, early damage, because once the dive sort of gets on top of you, once they swarm over you, you're just in a world of hurt on Ashe. You know, Echo's going to dominate you every time. The place you're supposed to have the advantage, though, is when you're sort of 1v1ing Echo on the flank as Tracer. You're supposed to be able to win those. Echo's supposed to run away, but if Bun just 2-taps you and is somehow like headshotting you down and winning those, you know, I mean, it's not really a strategic issue. It's a mechanical issue. Exactly. Yeah, curtains is the only thing you could say.
Timeless Ethereal, what do you think about this? Cassidy Ramantra here with the Echo.
I actually like this comp because since you're running the Ana Brig, you could just go to Winston for second point super easily. I'm very likely that they will do that, Winston or Diva. But if you wanted to, you know, just hold first point, hold these chokes, Ram is actually pretty great at that. Makes it very awkward for the attacking Ana Brig to move in when there's always the threat of a Ramantra running them over. And Pella, gets caught with the Ravenous Vortex there, can't quite jump out. And now, I mean, I think they weren't expecting this, honestly. I think so much of the series has been a Winston mirror. I think Avidity were just fully expecting that to come out again. They just roll out super aggressive, running in as if it's going to be that mirror, and they're kind of caught with their pants down against Ramatra.
Yeah, and for Timeless Ethereal, right, you have such a sick time bank there that you just need to kind of like burn clock, right? You just kind of like win some fights here. You know, you get down to here like a minute, you know, get second point down to a minute, like even at the end, right? They would almost be like in a spot where they mathematically even couldn't have, you know, a bigger time bank, right? Not insanely difficult here for Timeless Ethereal. Just need to execute it as Sawhill gets hit with a bio. Gonna have to back up yet again as Skiers had a tremendous series, even you know, down 2-0 as it's gonna be a collapse on X10, so they do find a pick.
Yeah, it's a great dive from Pella, right? Sees the cast low, blocks, heals with his own body, getting in on top of that low target, and okay, isolated Ramatra, not gonna be able to clean up. Bun finds one, probably just too little too late here, just dying on point. Everybody catching the spawn wave here for Timeless Ethereal should be all grouped up and ready to hold second. Sahil's close enough to this annihilation that I wouldn't be surprised to see her trying to go for it and maybe hold this choke point. But love to see the Winston come out, especially for the end of second point, trying to clutch out, where this vertical mobility is super valuable here, and especially with Echo. The Ramatra sort of an awkward combo with Echo, who wants to get in, wants to get on top of the back line. Feel like this could give Ash maybe a little bit more room to work with, so opportunity for Wisp to potentially equalize.
It feels like Timeless Ethereal needs to play door. They need to play the door. They need to kind of just force them down. You know what? Like earlier when we watched on King's Row, where teams kind of like swap sides, I will see that type of scenario here where they kind of get down into the choke, but Eve connects with a bolt spawn there onto Scuffed. Eve 2. Not going to be able to play the door that effectively now. They lost a few players. As Bun's trying to make it out. Bun will fall, so this will be kills galore here going in favor of Avidity. This is going to allow Wisp to get set up over here towards that high ground.
Yeah, it's a huge deal for the attackers to retake this high ground space. Bobbing into the choke as well. Ramatra desperately wants to finish this kill, and the Ravenous Vortex is going to block Wisp retreat, blocking the whole duration of Bob. And still, Annihilation was held from Sahil. This is a big kill onto Wisp, right?
I mean, you get a fight win here for Timeless Ethereal. It's pretty massive, right? This is going to be the rally used here from Ninway, because it probably feels like you're in a must-win fight territory every single fight from here on out. This is not where you want to be with how good Bun has been. The cart, though, moving the opposite direction. Do they know? Looks like... Yeah, it looks like they're breaking heading back. Okay, so they do have an idea. So not gonna end with disaster there, as I know Eve was making a play for the payload. Eve, well, just die here. Doesn't want to like get too weird staying in the enemy spawn. I don't hate it here. I wouldn't have minded to see them, you know, just stay alive back there and start forcing the car. But Timeless Ethereal in a pretty comfortable spot now. A lot of ultimates to work with. You know, the Ramatra, pretty much an unkillable frontliner hero here. Skier is going to have his work cut out for him trying to make these rotations happen without getting punished. Ram drops to the low ground very early, very aggressively. Not very demure, not very mindful. And X10 does shut down Eve. That'll be probably good enough here to stabilize this choke. Pella's primaling in the back line, though. Hold on. I spoke too soon. Oh, no, don't go to the edge, Anna. Not against the primal. That is not where you want to be there for Scuffed. Is not with the primal into basically the choke. His Bun will finally fall. So I know one more player's here at Sawhill, just trying to make a play for some of these players on the backline. Finds Wisp. I don't think he's strong enough to potentially kill out Pella. He's gonna use the Annihilation. Oh, maybe he is though. Hold on. Oh, the triple pack, and they're pressuring the card at the same moment. Sawhill, ultimately it's expensive, but Sawhill does make it back to their team, so able to take a reset, able to slow the fight down. That's the last form used though, so Ram kind of out of cooldowns here, very aggressive, went all the way into the back line. Is the follow-up gonna be here? No, maybe the team wasn't quite ready for that one, right? Not on the same page. And Pella sees the opportunity, pushes forward. Anna's super low, sleep is missed. Opportunity here. Now it forces the rally. Let's ski. Bun finds the kill. Bun finds the kill on the Skier. You're gonna have players here come out with Halo's rally, get back towards that payload. As look at this Wisp, he just doesn't want to poke out because so scared of Bun up in the sky. This will be the rally here for Ninwai, just trying to stay alive, but taking tons of damage. Eve though finds two. Pella with another one. That'll be the second checkpoint.
Yeah, great job. And you've got to cap with 1 minute on the clock here, or with time on the clock rather here for Avidity, so that you even get that minute to continue the offense. So, I mean, now Timeless Ethereal, there really is the option. Do you want to kind of just fully go to a clock burning strategy? I think maybe just a little bit too much time left for Avidity to make that a wise choice. Timeless, they really committed to trying to hold second point, and now they have nothing. And now Bob comes in, forces them off the car, still Primal Rage, ready to be committed. Drone bounce, no! Not that it really would have saved Sahil there, but Pella, this should be a cleanup. This should be a full cap even for Avidity, who have maybe found their footing late into the series, but better late than never, Matt. No DPS swaps coming out. Okay, Bun does go to the Venture. Maybe she can make it on time. She does. Opportunity for something, but Eve, man, Eve does not want to lose this series, does not want to go down. Nenwai does kill Bun, trades his life away for it, but surely this is enough here. Ryan can only stall for so long. Pella wisely targets the backline, and a huge cleave from this Winston. He's absolutely eating them up here as they're forced to come touch the payload and fight overly aggressively. Bun, can Bun make it back? Can he get the dig? No, not quite. And it is going to be an overtime round here for Avidity, who give themselves another life here in this map, another life in the series, as it is on the line here, being down 0-2.
Yeah, it's still just a massive time bank advantage, right, in favor of Timeless Ethereal. So I would still say that you're still kind of like in control of the series, right? But I mean, when they need it the most, right, Avidity started to turn up there towards the end. Felt like it got like a little bit too maybe fast and chaotic, I would say, and that's kind of where it started to spiral for Timeless Ethereal. But otherwise, no, they're still for me in the driver's seat here. It's still their map to lose.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if Sahil elects to come out with Ramatra again. I like the choice to go Winston. To be honest, I think, you know, they just stuck on the Ramatra for way too long on second point. And then on third, it's like, okay, sure, Ramatra's good again. But I really think some of those dives, they were kind of like role-playing as a Winston with Ramatra, like jumping off the high ground and running at the back line. And I think, you know, you could have just even given up the annihilation, 70-80% annihilation, just drop it and just go Winston, and I think you might have had a better chance to hit the full hold. Eve also really came alive on the Tracer. I feel like that is a huge factor for why Avidity was able to cap with a respectable time bank of 90 seconds, as Eve finding kill after kill on second and third point. It's gonna have to keep that up. A lot of pressure on Eve right now, I think, on the Tracer to be that difference maker, to be winning those flank fights. That's protecting your Ashe. It's creating opportunities for players like Skier and NY Pella to get in and find those kills. It's a tough spot to be doing it on offense first point. Not super easy for an attacker to get in. Sahil's super low though, like 1 HP, forced out instantly.
Right off the rip, right?
Not getting healed up quickly at all. Hold on, this defense is looking very weak with players very low. Pella pushing forward, nade onto Halo.
That's a nice dynamite as well. Puts down some consistent damage. Right? A team that was already kind of like starved for healing resources, then just kind of gives it up there. Not a great defense there from Timeless Ethereal right off the rip. I mean, that's pretty ugly.
That's exactly what you want when it comes to snowballing and OT. Super dominant first fight, right? Close it out easily. Still got enough time where the enemies can't just like int on you on car. You have opportunity to get off and play the time if you need to. And now Eve, finding their footing, really is the one who I think can put the pressure back onto Bun and deny some of these echo flanks, deny some of the opportunity to even get in for the dive. Pressure as well on Scuffed here. Has the high ground position, has all and the best you could ask for on Ana, right? Can you find that nade onto the enemy backline? That's what your whole team is hoping for. You know, he's up here, ready to deliver. Pella does bubble it off, blocks the Ana LOS completely, but not really going to be able to stay too long in that position.
You got a nano here for Scuffed as well.
There it is, huge nade.
Yeah, that's massive. This is what they needed.
Yeah, that's it, and that should be the end of the offense, frankly. I mean, 3 kills. Pella's going to primal, but he's 2v5 right here. Maybe with a... No, just no way, Matt. There's no way. The enemy primal's coming in. So many ults online. Eve gets 1 more stall, has a recall. No way. How does Eve get a kill? No way. Bun shuts it down.
Okay, they don't have anybody on the card. I was going to say, I was like,
Pella actually won after an instant triple kill. I would have lost my mind. If you win a fight after an instant triple kill, I don't even know.
Pella made it with the like the nano there towards the end. It would have been interesting if they would have kept that going, but did not able to do so. So now it's pretty clear here for Timeless Ethereal, right? You pretty much just need first checkpoint and then just a little bit, right? Maybe another fight after that. So
yeah,
seems like in a perfect position here to end up getting a series win in a decider game, right? A game that would end up pushing them on to the main event.
Yeah, and Avidity gonna stick with their guns, still feeling confident on the Winston. I think there's an option to play something tricky like a Ram and try and go for the like fight before the gate opens if you lose first point. But I don't think you would even get a third fight there. So I like the choice to play Winston. It's been your bread and butter. You have looked strong on it. Feels like late in the series, Pella and Eve have been coming alive with some great dives. It's just that the trades have been just too quick, too fast over the course of the whole series from Timeless Ethereal. Bun being that X factor has made a huge difference. And so now I think a lot of pressure is on first point. You need a good hold here. Maybe you could lose first point and like clutch one more fight out. That's maybe doable. But I'm gonna be honest, if you just lose first point in one fight, this one's chalked. Super, super difficult to hold the spawn here on Eichenwald. So Timeless Ethereal, their approach this first fight, really would love to start things off on the right foot. And Bun taking a high ground angle. Interesting choice here. She's just gonna reset booster in a stall spot. It's kind of a nice move here.
Waits out the booster, so then she'll be able to activate it again here, go all the way around.
Yeah, just pressuring from a different angle, right? Like bring Wisps' attention away. Nade comes in on the scuffed. See if there's any follow-up. Looks like not. Pella busy elsewhere, holding down the front line. I think neither team wants to make a mistake, right? Both teams posturing. It's a nice nade, but the on to Nenwai, the follow-up is there. Oh, Sahil, Bun, X10 diving in. Yeah, your backline might die. You don't even care, though. The divers charging forward. Want to clean up. Maybe you should care, though. Hold on, Eve turning this fight. X10 forced a recall. Pella is slept, but super difficult to burst that high HP Winston down.
I think you're going to keep extending this, though. I think if you're Timeless Ethereal, you're going to have players coming back off of the respawn here. You're going to get very close to a nano coming up. But that is one that they probably would have loved to put away, where I thought there was no way Sahil was jumping in. He was quite low, just kind of like how he was there. Wiz now finds another kill on a Bun, so things starting to heat up here for Avidity.
This is exactly what you need if you are Avidity. Pulse comes in, it trades. Both teams losing players. Pella is so low, 100 HP and a dream. Bionated as well, but manages to slip away, grab a pack, and reset. I mean, this is exactly how you want to do it if you're Avidity. These staggered trading one-for-one type fights, as long as you can keep a hold of things as a defender, this is how the clock really runs down as only 130 left. Timeless Ethereal, a lot of pressure. This is the dive to do it. The Nano Winston, he's connected to the back line. Yes, you can sleep him, but he's going to be up in 3. Now, Skier, what do you have next? You have something else in your bag of tricks for Sahil's Primal. A lot of pressure. This Brig Ana have to live this Winston dive, and they're primaled into the corner. Brig costs.
This is bad because they give up the first point, and then now these players are going to die as well. I mean,
sleep is missed as well. Skier's defenseless, but Sahil wants to wait for his teammates, wants to regroup.
Is Pella going to die too? Oh, 30 HP.
That is a clincher.
So, I mean, now for Avidity, I guess, you do have your Nano here. Nano Rally, you'll have your Bob. But this is really, one fight goes wrong. I mean, you are just shocked, and you're not even getting used to the Bob. Oh, they just dive Wisp up on the high ground.
Oh, Bun copies Ana, nades her, a tale as old as time. The Brig's even on top of this backline. Pella's Nano, though, fighting with the Rally. Inside this room, they're quite powerful, very effective. Bun gets a copy Nano online. Drops it instantly, and that'll be the series. Timeless Ethereal, dominant 3-0 performance against a team that has just beat them 3-0 not only a few days ago, and here they come roaring back with a decisive 3-0 victory. This is going to mean a lot to this squad that has been playing together for quite a long time, Matt.
Yeah, it's a huge win for them as a team, especially with the stakes, right? To, bounce back after losing to Avidity last week and then now taking them out 3-0 in a decider match, right? To make it out of the group, that's huge.
Yeah, and two of the maps they played today were two of the maps that they lost against them just like 10 or whatever days ago. So that is a great turnaround for that squad. It does mean a lot, and I think it was very interesting to take a closer look at how they got it done, because Timeless has also shown us a very distinct style, which is something we just got treated to in our previous match. So it's great to see Timeless also just relying on comfort picks in a way. I mean, we saw that Echo being used a lot by them. Not in every situation this would have been considered the ideal pick. Also, Halo wasn't that Ayari. Not everyone would agree with that at all times. But I think Timeless just played really, really well around it. Bun managed to do so much with so few resources, time and time again, no matter what she played. So I was very, very impressed with the individuals on this team.
Yeah, Bun's Echo, I think, really was a huge centerpiece in this series, right? Whether the copy Ash is getting Bob, you know, the copy on Ramattra or Winston, and the Ana copies. I mean, just so many effective plays on the Echo. And that's not even necessarily the hero I think of when I know Bun as a player. And so for her to bring that heat on a hero like that, super decisively in this series, and the team overall, I mean, I think you really felt their experience together in this series, right? When the nades came in, it felt like the dive was always there on top, and where on the other side, Skier found a lot of nades, but the dive wasn't as explosive. I mean, part of that's the choice to run the Ash. You know, you're accepting that you're going to be a little bit of a slower style, but in the end, I think a lot of it is the team play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were just so well coordinated all throughout. I think the Echo play, though, was from Bun. I mean, we've talked about it. It was fantastic. Really made the difference, and especially like you need that Echo to be sick when you're gonna play it into the hit scan, right? And now play one on your side. Like you need that Echo to really pop off, and her in combination with Sawhill, just a sick combo today.
That nade.
Nades were on point. Nades are on point. Just across the board, it was an incredible performance. It was very much on display that they prepared for this. They knew exactly what to expect from the opposition. They weren't caught off guard at all by literally anything. And it's not like the opponents were playing bad per se. I mean, okay, looking at Dorado, I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit there, but overall Avidity, they pushed back as best as they can, but in the end it was just not enough, and that means that Timeless Ethereal are now moving on. So let's take a look at the bracket to see what opponent is no, actually, let's look at this. This is way better. Love this.
This is the player of the match.
Player of the match. This is even better than a bracket. Sawhill, of course, made waves on that tank. We talked about Sawhill already quite a bit last stage. I mean, the performance of them today is pretty much putting it on display. Why?
I mean, honestly, I think that the Rhine play won them map one. Like, I don't think they really should have won this map, but Sawhill found huge shatters, found big pins on the Maga. I mean, I think that was critical to starting off the series on the right foot. And this is one of those series where I feel like, you know, map one could have probably decided this series, right? This is such a momentum-based series. Teams so closely matched. I really put a lot of a stock in that. But then, you know, the centerpiece of any great dive comp is the Winston. It is the tank. You're the one who has to lead it, likely the one who's making a lot of the calls, whether to go, who to go on. And a lot of these fights are coming down to trading backlines, which tank is healthier at the end of the fight. And more often than not, it was Sawhill. As good as Bun and X10 were, and as much as I do want to give them their flowers, I feel like Sawhill deserves this player of the match.